I would surely be amiss if I did not mention this this flapper part of the governor system, and quite often a auction sale, junkyard, barn find, this end will be broken off quite often. Should look like that. Like I say, I would be amiss if we didn't talk about it at least. This is not the head that came on this engine. The head that came on this engine, well, I'll show you, is this one right here. Now I'm going to use this head at a later time, but you can see right down in that passage there that is rusted really deep. I'll put a sleeve in there when I rebuild this head. I'll put a sleeve in there and then put a just ever such a thin sleeve and put a smaller plate in there. And there was no reason not to use this head other than that, but at the same time, I've got this very good head right here, and it's one of those cases of trying to use the best parts on the engine. This is a really good head, and I am going to put valve guides and cut new seats in it, but all the threads are really good on this one right here, and as is the original bore down in here for the fuel. So with that said, to get us to where we are here on the bench today is these governor regulating mechanisms. This is the one that I'm going to put in the engine. I did have, as this one, a good part here that in a head that had all of that rusted down in here, and that had to be broken away in order to get this out. So I drilled that out and I found a new shaft, and I'll just show you a couple examples on those as to the knurling on the end. See, this is a real light knurl. I say light, it's close hatch, and this is was a deep large hatch on that one, and that is cast. I'm finding out that that's cast in there, and right here's a replacement, a new one, and I was looking at it, and this one does not appear to have been casted together. I think that one's pressed in there. Yeah, you can see a little line around there. That looks like a pressed in shaft right there. And I broke away several of these. I've got a whole bunch of them, and all of them appear to be cast in. But what I'm going to show you today, something to write in the front of the book. Get the pencil out and write this down with a small sketch. It's one of those visual descriptions. And when you're lining this choke, it's not choke, it's governor. This plate right here, if you're putting two together and you only have one that's broken and you don't have nothing to compare it to, you can use this information. Just take a 6-inch ruler, a straight edge of any kind, and assemble the plate in the shaft and the good usable end out here. And when you put the straight edge on that plate, then the edge of that plate should line up with the gap in this distance of how much that can move. That plate lines up with that gap right there. So you just position those two together, and then you can press them together. This one, it's if you try to press these the way this this shaft has got that groove mill, that slot milled in it, you will inevitably bend that. So actually what I'm going to do here in order to save this is such a good 3 parts that I really want to save them, is I'm going to file those protrusions where that was knurled. I'm going to file them off a little bit more where that'll be a real light press. You could use Loctite there, but you know, in a machine shop I kind of like a mechanical fastener. So once I get this in position, I am going to drill a hole straight through inside where the spring would be, so it cannot be lost, and put a small pin straight through. That way, if by chance the press fit was not enough, then that mechanical fastener there would hold it and not let the engine run away. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and put all this together and put it in there to explain the fixing mechanism. I done already pressed that together, and it was a slight interference fit, enough to where it would be okay as is. But because of it's part of a governor system, I don't want to take any chances. So what I done is I cross drilled that center line on the brass shaft, drilled a hole in there, and then I made a little pin right there. It's probably a coat hanger, some kind of wire that was on the bench, and I cut it to length a little bit short where nothing would be protruding, and then I upset one end of it so that when I drive it in there, and it is kind of, it's a snug enough fit, and when drive it in there, it will. I'm going to support it over yonder on the anvil, and then drive that there to where it's well, I'll just do it. Okay, now that pin across there is just ever such a little bit below the surface on both sides, and that's where the spring goes. The spring will be refitted to that part right in there, and even the spring would hold it from ever coming out. So anyways, we're good to go, and I am going to leave this out until after that I do the valve work, just to keep it out of harm's way. But we've saved another one.